If you love Assassin's Creed like me, then you know who the face of the franchise is, Ezio Auditore. Wanna know why he is the face? Because he's the only character with a trilogy of games where we see his whole story, from start to finish, from birth to his final breath. He also is just an amazing assassin. This is why we need trilogies in Assassin's Creed. While Ezio is beloved, other characters like Arno, Edward, Bayek are liked and also beloved, but not to the same level of Ezio, bro. My guy is overrated. That's coming from me, someone who calls him GOAT in all my shots. But okay. We the fans think they are great, but in reality, they could have stood on the same feet if we just had their stories spread out in multiple games and multiple lengths of times. Imagine we see Edward's final moments and first moments, just like Ezio, but his story is different, and it would make me wanna care more than I already do. We all know Bayek's story. Grew up as a Magi father, he learned to take over the role of his father, and then AC Origins happened. While we do kind of know what Bayek did after the end of his games, it would be better if we could have seen some more. Ono is the exact same with this. I know people like him as a character. I know we all love AC Unity and wanted this game to be more optimized when it came out. But after Unity, we know little of what Ono is up to. Yeah, he did later join the Brotherhood back up and became a Master Assassin after the Dead King's DLC, but that DLC does not give us enough of his story. We could have seen how he became a Master Assassin like Ezio, how he trained up to that, you know, his whole redemption arc. He fell down, then with Elise's wishes, he just rose to the top again. We could have seen all of that, but no. That's what I am seeing in these characters. We could have had a Black Flag 2, where we could have gone to England, made the mansion Edward would have lived in, and while he is trying to become a father, Edward deals with some of the Templars who moved in on England for the 25th time. Then we could have seen him fight and fend off this Templar order. We could have had a completely different story from a person who changed so much that he is a almost completely different character, but it does make sense because he grew into that character. We could have built the England Brotherhood back up again, and then at the end, we would have freed England for another time. But now, I hear you saying, England has already been done twice, like I am saying right now. And while that is true, there is a difference in how the cities could have looked. New building schematics would have been made. They would have changed the buildings up from what we had in AC Valhalla and AC Syndicate. We would have had a London with different types of buildings, but around the same structure. But I don't think Edward even went to London. But okay, back. England is not a place you want to visit. Then let's see Edward fighting ninjas. Yeah, he did that in a comic book. Assassin's Creed has comics. Yeah, man, a lot happens in these comics, and that's not the story for another day. We don't need England to be where Edward's story can continue from. We need Edward's story to not end with him going to England. We need a story to end with him raising his child up, you know? Like, I want more AC Black Flag, okay? And I want more Edward. Is that hard to ask? Same with Arno. Although that's a little bit different for that matter. I don't think Arno traveled much after the story of ACUD and Dead Kings, but I do know that Arno did join the Brotherhood back up, and he tried to diplomatically connect the Assassin's Brotherhood and the Templars Order into an era of peace. We could get a game that is a bit slower sometimes, maybe a bit more politically talking and mysterious, but on the other side, in that same game, we could have had some parts where we would have had some fast-paced action, where we had to make sure that this bad letter, that in a certain sense could be seen as bad, and the Assassins and Templars want to be in a ruffle together. They don't want to be like linked up, you know. And then Arno has to make sure this letter does not reach the Templars or the Assassins, because this would politically make everything bad. Like something like that, you know. That could work. You just gotta spin those wheels. We could also get stories of characters that are beloved, and we could see them grow from the first game to the last game. We could have also changed as people, you know? Like, game development is 4 years. People change in 4 years, you know, just a little bit. But that's still change. This is just amazing, if I'm honest. Ubisoft has to try this. And They need to get back on that Assassin's Creed trilogy sauce again. With the potential, I am saying that maybe we get like one 30-hour game that's good for what it is. And then if it potentially reach the hours Ubisoft wants with side stuff, then two smaller games like 10 to 20 hours that are meaningful but not expensive. These small ass games could expand on this big ass chapter. This could even work for Bayek if you really want to try it. We could see as he expands the Brotherhood to not just Egypt, but also other lands and countries. This game could be a bit more about traveling and making these trading routes to have assassins get their early gear they need. While Bayek is traveling, then we could also get him like a new gear set, and this could have inspiration from different cultures, which would later spin into the first set of robes the Brotherhood has. We do need to know how and who made the robes that would evolve into what Altair would wear. I don't see Bayek with this main fit walking these long ass white robes and red accents. I see it a little bit, but I also see some yellow. If you still are not convinced we need those trilogies, then let me show you another example that, if done right, we could still connect and grow with these characters that we have previously seen in other games. Basim. He started in AC Valhalla. Then he got his own game that's kind of a prequel, but it was meant to be DLC, but then got changed to a full-on game. This could work. For example, like something we can use right now. In AC Shadows, we have Nawa and Yasuke, those protagonists? We could see them in a smaller game that's around the same time period, where we could see an older Yasuke or Nawe just walking around and being a side character, and this other young disciple assassin that's trying to get through the ranks and trying to find like something. I don't know. Let's just say rough ass draft. I'm not somebody who makes. I'm somebody who talks about something I like a lot, and that's this, man. But where I also talk a lot? My YouTube streams, man. My YouTube streams, man. Join up, man. Community post for updates. Thanks for watching.